representing 10th Planet Preach, Eddy!
Eddy started talking about Combat Jiu Jitsu. You know, at first I didn't really, none of us really knew what to think about it. Adding like slaps to Jiu Jitsu did to me and to a lot of us kind of sound like an odd concept.
Don't worry about the strikes, let him slap you, it'll wake you up.
At first, it wasn't something that I was interested in. I like training without strikes. I'm not looking to finish someone off of damage. I'm not in here to like try and hurt somebody. I like the concept of trying to get somebody to submit willfully, and the art that's in that, and the work and the technique that's in that. When you switch to finish with damage, there's a little switch in your brain and there's a switch in your technique and the way you operate that it's not really what I'm going for, you know?
Loving Ben Eddy's work here.
Going to town with the pity-patty slaps on the top of the head.
Right.
You know, I had him in a bunch of different like rubber guard holds, but I couldn't finish anything. And you know, he kept on putting a ton of pressure. He was picking me up out of guard. He got some decent slaps in. Like it was a really good back and forth like regulation like match.
Team looks to survive, and he does. Overtime for the Combat Jiu Jitsu Bantamweight title here at EBI 15.
And going into overtime, I just kind of told myself, I was just like, you know, you gotta win this one. Like pull this one out. You know, this is gonna be a big deal if you can like win this one. It was just a really cool moment to be able to share on stage with everyone. Getting my black belt and having like kind of all my instructors there.
After about 10 EBIs, I went back to the commission. I go, can I do Combat Jiu Jitsu now on the open mats? And then they said, hell yeah. Because they saw what I did with EBI. I go, I want to do exactly what EBI is doing, but I want to add palm strike. And they said, yeah, right. They agreed to it, boom, green-lit it. We're just trying to focus on just the jiu-jitsu.
Eddy was really asking me specifically a lot. He was like telling me he wanted me to compete for him in Combat Jiu Jitsu because of my rubber guard game. He was like, this, you know, it's gonna really work really well for you. You have a perfect game for Combat Jiu Jitsu because when these guys come in for their strikes, you're gonna be able to wrap them up, play your rubber guard, and you know, your 10th Planet Jiu Jitsu. And you know, it's gonna work well for you. You're gonna be able to find the sub when these guys look to slap. And it just kind of turned out that Wilson Hayes, pretty much the main, you know, #1 guy showing up for the 16-man event, showed up overweight. So then I ended up getting that match as a super fight, and that was my first Combat Jiu Jitsu match. I remember being pretty hype about it. You know, I was like, wow, okay, this is gonna be my first Combat Jiu Jitsu match. This guy he just that year fought for the UFC title against Mighty Mouse, and that was gonna be my first Combat Jiu Jitsu match. I remember just how hyped the crowd was, just like how hyped everybody was. You know, it felt so new. Like people didn't really know what was going to happen, so there was a real like.
And now armbar coming. Oh, Ben Eddy by submission. He stops Wilson Hayes. Wow, what a win for Ben Eddy.
Once I started training for Combat Jiu Jitsu and started adding like slaps into my rounds and stuff, I really liked how it felt. I really liked, like right away it started showing me like parts of my game, parts of Jiu Jitsu where I would get struck, where you know, where it wouldn't work if people were able to strike. It really started giving me an appreciation for range and closing the distance and constantly needing to have a clinch or control people's hands. And I really liked that. I really liked, it felt like it was really not only improving my jiu-jitsu for if somebody's going to be striking me, but it felt like it was improving my jiu-jitsu for even just normal jiu-jitsu, because I couldn't just kind of hang out and have like kind of a more lazy recovery guard. I had to prioritize position a lot more. I had to prioritize the clinch. I had to make sure that I was always in and tight or far enough away.
Plenty of time to submit him. You have the jiu-jitsu to do it, gun show.
And it made me like work a lot quicker. Yeah, I showed up and just kind of with the mindset of like, okay, let's just let, you know, you're not gonna be in your best like shape. Just let these guys kind of bring the action to you and just kind of try and roll with it, flow with it, and find the answer, you know?
Wrist control. Wrist control. Lock his hands. Spike those hands. Spike those hands.
I just barely started to get the hold back in. I knew there was like maybe 15 seconds left. Hold this till the buzzer, you know? And so I just started squeezing and squeezing and squeezing and holding. And I started to feel like within the last like 3-4 seconds that, you know, that it was in and that he was like starting to go to sleep. And I'm like, okay, if I just hold this until the buzzer and I make sure he's asleep, like all I need to do is just make sure he's asleep and then, you know, just release my arms and show him that he's asleep and like I should win, like all at once. You know, so I just held it, and then the buzzer hits, and I'm like, he's asleep. Like I literally felt him like 1 second before just like fall limp on me, and I'm just like hitting my head like, wow, like he's asleep. Just open your arms and just show him like that he's asleep. However it goes, you know, I'm just looking forward to being able to show up healthy with good energy and just be able to display my jiu-jitsu and bring my game. I hope I can show up at 100% and do what I do, you know?
Man, I wanted to give up.
Only like 2 fingers.
Fuck.
Your karatas. You could. This choker wasn't.
It's 2 fingers, it's nothing. So I knew
It's just the karatas.
Yes.
Good job.
Fucking good job on fighting my rubber guard. Like, I couldn't finish that.
How are your legs feel?
They're tired. But